In a world where change is the only constant, the ability to reinvent oneself has become an essential skill for survival and success. This journey we are about to embark on together is not just another self-help manual, it is a profound exploration of the infinite possibilities that open up before us when we dare to rewrite our own story. Imagine for a moment that your life is like an old house. It has solid foundations, fascinating stories etched in its walls, and corners filled with memories. But perhaps some rooms need a makeover, perhaps some windows need more light, or perhaps it's time to build a new extension. Personal reinvention works in a similar way. We retain our essence while daring to explore new possibilities. The story of Maria, a 52-year-old executive who decided to leave her corporate career to open a literary cafe in a small coastal town, serves as a prime example of this transformation. "Everyone thought I'd lost my mind," she shares with a laugh as she pours coffee into handmade ceramic cups. "But for the first time in decades, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Statistics show that the average person changes careers between 3 and 7 times during their working life. However, reinvention goes far beyond the professional. It encompasses every aspect of our existence, from our daily habits to our deepest relationships, from our physical health to our spiritual outlook. True transformation begins when we dare to look beyond our comfort zones, when we decide that the fear of change will not be stronger than our desire to grow. On this journey of self-discovery, we will find that every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise, every failure an invaluable lesson, and every step forward a victory that brings us closer to our best version. Carlos, a 38-year-old university professor, discovered this in the most unexpected way when a global pandemic forced him to completely reinvent his teaching method. "At first, it was terrifying," he confesses. "I went from teaching in a traditional classroom to creating digital content and managing an online learning community. But what seemed like a crisis turned into the biggest opportunity of my career." Neuroscience reveals that our brains have an astonishing plasticity, capable of creating new neural connections until the very last day of our lives. This biological capacity for change and adaptation is the scientific foundation that supports our capacity for reinvention. Every time we learn something new, every time we dare to try a new experience, we are literally rebuilding our brains. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, scientists have discovered that certain tree species can completely change their chemical composition in response to environmental threats. Similarly, humans possess an innate capacity to adapt and transform in response to the challenges we face. The difference is that we can consciously choose when and how we want to change. Personal reinvention isn't just about grand gestures or dramatic changes. Often the most significant transformations begin with small tweaks to our daily routines. Anna, a 45-year-old single mother, began her reinvention journey by simply dedicating 15 minutes each morning to meditation. "That small change triggered a series of transformations I never would have imagined possible," she explains. "Within a year, I had resumed my studies, improved my relationship with my children, and found a new purpose in life." Fear of change is a natural and evolutionary response of our brain. For thousands of years, the survival of our species depended on maintaining routines that worked and avoiding unnecessary risks. However, in today's world, that same resistance to change can become our greatest limitation. The key is learning to distinguish between the fear that protects us and the fear that paralyzes us. Human history is replete with examples of extraordinary reinvention. Leonardo da Vinci began as a humble apprentice artist and continually reinvented himself to become one of history's greatest multidisciplinary geniuses. Marie Curie challenged the conventions of her time to reinvent herself as a scientist in a male-dominated world. Steve Jobs transformed his initial failure at Apple into the springboard for one of the greatest entrepreneurial success stories of all time. The process of personal reinvention can be compared to the metamorphosis of a butterfly. During the transformation, the caterpillar doesn't simply grow wings. Its entire organism is broken down and rebuilt from the ground up. Similarly, true reinvention often requires us to dare to completely dismantle some areas of our lives in order to rebuild them in a more authentic and meaningful way. Technology and globalization have created a world where the ability to reinvent oneself is not just an option, but a necessity for professional and personal survival. The skills that led us to success yesterday may become obsolete tomorrow. Jobs we considered secure may disappear in a matter of years. Relationships we took for granted may require a complete reinvention to remain healthy and meaningful. In this context of constant change, emotional resilience becomes our greatest ally. It's not just about surviving change, but learning to thrive amid it. Julia, a 43-year-old entrepreneur, discovered this when her traditional retail business was threatened by e-commerce. Instead of resisting change, she decided to embrace digital transformation and create a hybrid experience that combined the best of both worlds. Personal transformation also involves a renewal of our interpersonal relationships. As we evolve, our connections with others also need to adapt and grow. Some relationships will strengthen with change, others may weaken, and new meaningful connections will emerge along the way. The important thing is to maintain authenticity in every interaction and allow our relationships to evolve organically. The power of a growth mindset in the reinvention process cannot be underestimated. Those who believe their skills and abilities can be developed over time have a significant advantage in the process of personal transformation. This mindset allows us to view challenges as learning opportunities and mistakes as necessary steps toward success. Brain neuroplasticity shows us that it's never too late to learn and change. A study of people over 60 revealed that those who dared to learn a new language or musical instrument not only improved their cognitive skills, but also experienced greater life satisfaction and a renewed sense of purpose. In the professional world, the ability to reinvent oneself has become a crucial skill. Companies are increasingly looking for people who are not only experts in their field, but also demonstrate adaptability and a willingness to continually learn. Roberto, a 55-year-old engineer, exemplifies this reality. After 25 years in the automotive industry, he decided to specialize in artificial intelligence and now leads innovation projects at his company. Physical and mental transformation are intrinsically connected in the process of reinvention. Regular exercise, mindful eating, and wellness practices such as meditation or yoga not only improve our physical health, but also provide us with the mental clarity and energy necessary to face the challenges of change. Laura, a 36-year-old accountant, found that her decision to incorporate morning exercise into her routine triggered a series of positive changes in all areas of her life. Authenticity is fundamental in any process of reinvention. It's not about becoming someone else, but a better version of ourselves. This requires deep self-knowledge and the willingness to confront those aspects of our personality that may be limiting our growth. As psychologist Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The art of reinvention also involves learning to let go. Sometimes we must say goodbye to old habits, limiting beliefs, or even toxic relationships that no longer serve our growth. This process of letting go, although painful, is essential to creating space for new opportunities and enriching experiences. Technology, far from being a threat, can become a powerful ally in our transformation process. Online learning platforms, personal development apps, and virtual communities provide us with unprecedented resources and support to facilitate our reinvention. Santiago, a 47-year-old architect, used these resources to transform his traditional practice into a sustainable design studio with global reach. Digital transformation has not only revolutionized the way we work and communicate, but it has also redefined the boundaries of what is possible in terms of personal reinvention. Social media, when used consciously and strategically, can become powerful platforms for building an authentic personal brand and connecting with people who share our values and interests. The concept of success is also undergoing a profound transformation in our contemporary society. It is no longer measured solely in terms of material achievements or professional status, but more and more people seek holistic success that includes emotional well-being, life purpose, and social contribution. Elena, a successful 48-year-old corporate lawyer, decided to reduce her work hours to dedicate time to a foundation that provides free legal advice to women in vulnerable situations. Earning less money but feeling like I'm making a real difference in other people's lives has brought me a satisfaction that no corporate bonus could match, she reflects. Creativity plays a fundamental role in the reinvention process. It's not just about the capacity for artistic expression, but the ability to visualize new possibilities and find innovative solutions to the challenges we face. Miguel, a 51-year-old accountant, discovered his passion for digital photography. During the pandemic, what began as a hobby documenting nature in his garden transformed into a second career as a weekend wedding photographer, allowing him to combine his numerical precision with his newfound artistic eye. The power of community in the reinvention process cannot be underestimated. Surrounding ourselves with people who support our growth, challenge us to be better, and share our values can significantly accelerate our transformation. Communities can be in-person or virtual. The important thing is that they provide us with the emotional support and constructive feedback necessary to maintain momentum on our journey of change. Spirituality, understood in its broadest sense as the search for meaning and connection with something larger than ourselves, can be a fundamental pillar in the process of reinvention. It's not necessarily about organized religion, but rather about developing a personal practice that helps us maintain perspective and find peace amidst change. Patricia, a 44-year-old marketing executive, found in the practice of mindfulness the compass she needed to navigate her transition to social entrepreneurship. Time and energy management becomes crucial when we embark on a process of reinvention. It's not just about being more productive, but about being more intentional about how we invest our most valuable resources. This can mean learning to say no to commitments that don't bring us closer to our goals, setting healthy boundaries in our relationships, and creating routines that support our physical and emotional well-being. The impact of personal reinvention transcends our own individual experience. When we dare to change and grow, we inspire others to do the same. We create a ripple effect that can transform families, communities, and entire organizations. Manuel, a 56-year-old high school teacher, observed how his decision to implement innovative learning techniques in his classroom not only improved his students' academic performance, but also inspired other educators to experiment with new teaching methods. Financial reinvention is another crucial aspect that deserves special attention. In a world where traditional job security is increasingly scarce, diversifying income sources and building financial resilience become essential. This may involve developing additional skills, investing in continuing education, creating passive income sources, or starting a side business. Carmen, a 41-year-old journalist, complemented her work at a traditional media outlet by creating a specialized newsletter that generates additional income and allows her to explore topics she is passionate about. Income diversification not only provides financial security, but also opens up new opportunities for personal and professional growth. By exploring different sources of income, we develop new skills, expand our network of contacts, and gain a broader perspective of the market. Sophia, a 39-year-old graphic designer, began selling her illustrations on digital platforms while maintaining her corporate job. This decision not only improved her financial situation, but also allowed her to develop entrepreneurial skills she never thought she would need. The concept of work-life balance is evolving toward a more seamless integration of all facets of our existence. Instead of seeking a strict separation between professional and personal lives, more people are creating lifestyles that allow for a harmonious fusion of their different roles and responsibilities. Diego, a 46-year-old software developer, structured his day so he could work remotely while traveling the world with his family, creating unique educational experiences for his children while maintaining his professional productivity. Mental health emerges as a fundamental pillar in any successful reinvention process. The ability to manage stress, maintain a positive outlook, and cultivate emotional resilience becomes as important as the technical or professional skills we develop. Advances in positive psychology and neuroscience provide us with increasingly effective tools to maintain our emotional well-being during periods of intense change. Connection with nature plays an increasingly important role in our personal transformation processes. In an increasingly digital and urbanized world, conscious contact with the natural environment can provide us with mental clarity, inspiration, and a renewed sense of purpose. Lucia, a 49-year-old business consultant, discovered that her best ideas and decisions arose during her daily walks in the park, which led her to incorporate elements of nature into her work methodologies with clients. Reinventing our physical spaces, both at home and at work, can catalyze deeper transformations in our lives. The conscious design of our environment directly influences our mental and emotional state, affecting our productivity, creativity, and overall well-being. Isabel, a 42-year-old therapist, transformed a neglected room in her home into a meditation and yoga studio, creating a personal sanctuary that supports her daily self-care practice. The role of technology in our personal reinvention continues to evolve with the advent of artificial intelligence and virtual reality. These tools not only facilitate learning and connection, but also allow us to experience and visualize different versions of our future. Alejandro, a 53-year-old university professor, uses virtual reality to create immersive educational experiences that transform the way his students learn about art history. The ability to adapt culturally has become an essential skill in an increasingly globalized world. Exposure to different perspectives and ways of life not only enriches our understanding of the world, but also helps us question our own assumptions and prejudices. Mariana, a 47-year-old chef, revolutionized her traditional restaurant by incorporating culinary influences from her travels in Asia, creating a unique gastronomic experience that combines ancient techniques with contemporary interpretations. Effective communication, both interpersonal and digital, remains a fundamental skill in any reinvention process. The ability to articulate our vision, share our experiences, and build meaningful relationships across different media largely determines the success of our transformation. Javier, a 44-year-old marketing consultant, found that his weekly podcast on business transformation not only helped him process his own learnings, but also opened doors to new professional opportunities.